Good evening, fellow G Vegas Gridiron mates. It's Kamish here. All this talk of fantasy football honestly just has me super excited for the upcoming season. And I wanted to come out and release a presser. It's been a while since I've done one of these, and I don't have a whole lot to talk about. But I've got fantasy football fever, so it had to be done. And really, all I want to say is to the two new league members. First of all, super excited for the upcoming season, if I haven't said that already. I think this is the best league that we will have had to date. We've got 16 committed members. You know, today, if today was any indication, all of the league is dedicated to the chat. Even the people that didn't chat a whole lot, I think we saw them react to some things. And we're still, I think, 65 days away from the draft, something like that. So to have that level of involvement so early on in your tenure, I think speaks to great things. I know when you first join, there's a pressure to be involved in the chat and be involved with the league, and that's probably different from a lot of the leagues that you've been a part of in the past. Well, and that's because this league is different. You know, when we started the chat, maybe 4 or 5 years ago at this point. The league's been around for 13 years. I always wanted to chat. We were in ESPN, and the ESPN app just had a really bad chat feature. So we kicked off with a Slack chat and then moved on from there to Yahoo, and then moved on from there to Discord, which has just been an amazing addition to this league and has added a lot of fun and a lot of character to it. But when we started the chat, people were involved kind of during the season. You know, we would talk about league related things, and you know, in the years since, we've all just fallen in love with, you know, each of our league mates, and the chat has exploded into something that we're talking about real life stuff all the time. And even during the off season, as you can already see, you know, we're pretty consistently messaging back and forth with each other, which I think is part of what makes this league so special. So congratulations on being part of such a special group and a very special league. One thing to keep in mind, you know, because this league is so big, the draft is going to be very interesting for you newbies. We do have IDPs, and so the draft is, I think, 28 rounds long. And so it takes a good bit of time, which is what makes being in person so much fun. And you know, we always have a good time with each other on draft weekends. You know, we'll plan Friday or Saturday. I'm not really sure yet. I don't think we've decided. One of those 2 days, we'll have Jose go on his date with a cardboard cutout of Sean Fain, who's a former league member, and that is the punishment for finishing in last place. On draft night this year, we will have this year's punishment announced, and it is assumed that everyone who is in the league agrees to take part in that punishment, you know, should they finish in last. Obviously, failure to do so leads to immediate expulsion from the league. But we don't know what this year's will be. We'll find out on draft night. But yeah, so draft weekend will kick off with that. And then we'll have a camping and shooting day out at the Corbin compound, which is home of our dear friend William Corn Cob, North Korean Fighting Kim's Corbin. And his dad, by the way, is Tom Corbin, who is in the South Carolina Senate for District 5. So that's right. William and his family, it's a pretty big freaking deal that we have him in this league. So you better show him respect, even though pretty much nothing that he says or does warrants any respect. But you'll figure that one out pretty quick. I would advise you to not trade with John Black Magic Libby McLovin. I think it's just in your best interest to avoid that altogether. You know, he's been known to open up negotiations with people, and for whatever reason, by the end of the negotiations, they'll start out with a very even trade, and then by the end of it, they'll give up half their team for one of his bench guys that he was going to drop anyway. So, word of warning there. Outside of that, the league is pretty self-explanatory. If you've played fantasy football before, it shouldn't be that hard to pick up. We have never had a rookie champ, and so we're hoping that maybe this year it could be one of you too. You know, I think the adjustment will be a little bit difficult and it's much more involved than other leagues probably that you have been in. If you've been in dynasty leagues, those might come close. I was in one dynasty league last year, didn't really enjoy it, but I didn't enjoy it because this league is set such a high standard. And I was promised league hangouts and an active chat, and they didn't have either one of those things. They got together for draft night, and that was about it. So anyways, I wish you guys all the best. If you have any issues at any point or any questions, I'm happy to be a resource to you. And I know that everyone else in the league will be happy to help as well. And just know, because you're a part of this league, G Vegas Gridiron is family. And if you guys are ever going through a tough time, you let us know. We'll be here for you. We don't turn our back on any league member unless they turn their backs on us. So welcome to the league, you guys, and looking forward to the season ahead.